You ever find yourself standing in a $1 million backyard, staring at a ceramic gnome and thinking, this is how it starts? I did. The day we moved into our new home, this pristine, desert-side estate outside Tucson wasn't marked by champagne corks or laughter echoing through vaulted ceilings. It was marked by the dull, soul-crushing thud of a binder thicker than my old company's merger agreement slamming down on our granite kitchen island. And printed across the cover in gold embossed letters, Saguaro Point HOA, Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions. Welcome to the neighborhood. My wife, Maddie, was still high on her real estate victory. Ooh, they gave us Prosecco, she said, twirling through the living room with a kind of glee only a woman who's just seen her dream kitchen can summon. Meanwhile, I was flipping through the binder with a growing sense of dread. Page after page of rules: driveway materials, mailbox paint shades, birdhouse placement, and a whole section on permissible lawn fauna. Turns out, even the flamingos had to be HOA approved. Now, I'm not some wild rebel. I spent 15 years optimizing logistics networks. Efficiency is my love language. I built a company on getting things done faster, better, with fewer headaches. So, when I realized this place was essentially a luxury prison run by a board of retirees with clipboards and way too much free time, I started to itch. Then came the traffic. My new gig consulting for the corporation that acquired my startup meant constant trips to downtown Tucson and the outskirts where the data centers bake in the desert heat. And every single morning, I'd sit in my Tesla, trapped on the I-10, staring at taillights while my blood pressure cooked. All that efficiency I used to live by, out the window. Until one morning, a news chopper glided overhead, silent, swift, purposeful. It was like a sign from above. And that's when the idea hit me so hard, I nearly swerved off the road. I'm gonna build a helipad. Later that night, I broke the news to Maddie. She was sketching koi pond ideas on a napkin. Honey, I said, I've solved the commute issue. She squinted at me. You bought a monster truck, didn't you? Nope. Think. More vertical. I'm building a helipad. Right here in the backyard. She stared at me, blinking like a computer that just crashed. A helipad? Next to the koi pond that doesn't exist yet. It's not a toy, I said. It's a solution. I can be downtown in 15 minutes. No stress, no gridlock. It's elegant. Practical. She took a deep sip of wine. You're gonna have to talk to Clara. Now, Clara Whitmore was our next-door neighbor and the president of the Saguaro Point HOA. Imagine a woman born in the wrong century. She wore sun hats the size of patio umbrellas and trimmed her rose bushes like she was disarming bombs. Maddie called her the garden general. I thought that was generous. Still, I believe in direct communication, so I set up a meeting. Found her in her yard, each flower bed perfectly manicured, the lawn unnaturally green in the Arizona heat. Mrs. Whitmore, I began. Clara, she said without turning, snipping a bloom with surgical precision. I have a small improvement project I'd like to discuss related to transportation. Her eyes didn't even flicker. Please be brief. I have precisely 13 minutes before my agapanthus requires attention. I explained the helipad light use. Only during business hours, low-noise model. Her pruning paused. She turned and gave me a smile so tight it could have sliced salami. Mr. Connolly, this is a community built on tranquility and terrestrial elegance. Helicopters are aggressive. It's whisper quiet, I offered. It's vulgar, she said. It will upset the hummingbirds. And just like that, the door slammed shut. No room for negotiation. She marched off, and I was left standing there, wondering how I'd been outmaneuvered by a woman who stored war crimes in a binder. But I wasn't about to back down. I'd faced bigger obstacles than a HOA president with a petunia complex. So I found a contractor, Ralph. Looked like he'd fought wildfires with his bare hands. I showed him the spot, the plans, the permits I was lining up. He raised an eyebrow. You told her about this? She mentioned hummingbirds. I muttered. Ralph chuckled. You're poking the bear, son. That weekend, I locked myself in my office with a bottle of whiskey and the CC and RS. It was like decoding ancient scripture, but eventually, I found it. Section 19, subparagraph G, ancillary structures for private transportation are permitted if compliant with all municipal codes. No mention of helicopters. Just a beautiful, vague clause probably written when people were worried about neighbors parking Winnebagos on the grass. Game on. I moved fast. Got permits, surveys, city approval. Ralph's crew started prepping the site until the Monday morning when a white Mercedes Sprinter van rolled onto my property line and just stopped. Inside was Clara, knitting like she was waiting for a revolution. My surveyors looked at me like I'd promised them a quick gig and walked them into a war zone. I approached her window. "Clara, you're blocking my contractors." She didn't even look up, just held a laminated card to the glass. "You are in violation of my peace and tranquility. Please communicate via email." Then she called the police. Officers showed up and looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. The other still had that rookie shine. Clara delivered her grievances like Shakespearean monologues. The officers, to their credit, didn't arrest anyone. But when they left, one leaned over and said, "You poked the bear, huh?" And the bear wasn't done. The next morning, I found 12 blindingly pink petunias planted right in the middle of the helipad zone, with a little sign, "Give peas and quiet a chance." Cute. But I'm pettier. Had Ralph's crew dig them up, pot them, and hand-deliver them to Clara's porch with a note that read, "Thank you for your enthusiastic support of the helipad beautification project." That night, an emergency HOA meeting was called. Clara came armed not with logic, but with grainy photos of helicopter crashes and a Bluetooth speaker blasting Vietnam-era rotor noise. She proposed a new amendment, total ban on all VTOL aircraft. The board, 4 people who looked like they'd been kidnapped from their book club, voted yes. Amendment 14B passed, but it wouldn't be official until the filing the next morning at 8 a.m., which meant I had a 17-hour window. I called Macme Pilot, calm as a Buddhist monk, tough as a bag of hammers. I explained the situation. "The pad isn't ready," he said. "I know. We're going to Plan B." "What's Plan B?" I didn't answer. Just said, "Stand by." Ralph's guys cleared the yard. I had cones outlining the property, lights rigged. Then I waited. As the sun dipped below the mountains, I heard it hat low, rhythmic thump thump thump. Mac was inbound. But Clara was ready. She marched straight onto the unfinished helipad, dragging 2 massive flower pots with her. Planted them like cannons. Stood between them, arms crossed, binder raised like a shield. A human blockade. I called Mac. "Abort. Landing pad compromised. Switch to alternate LZ." He hesitated. "Where?" 50 feet east, I said. "The lawn." "That's the neighbor's lawn." "No," I said, grinning so wide it hurt. "It's mine." There was a clerical error in the 1980s. According to the survey, that entire strip of award-winning grass belongs to me. There was a pause. "You're serious?" "Plan B is a go." The helicopter banked east. Clara, mid-smirk, looked up, and her face dropped. She spun around to see Mac descending onto what she thought was her sacred lawn. Her roses exploded in a pink mist. Patio furniture took flight. Her binder flew open like a bureaucratic piñata. Mac touched down, smooth as silk. Clara staggered across the yard, shrieking about trespassing and topsoil. The cops arrived, same guys, just shaking their heads. "She's on my property," I said. "Technically." The older officer sighed. "I'm taking a coffee break. Resolve this by the time I get back." She stormed off, hair like a bird's nest. The next day, she rang my doorbell. No binder. No sun hat. Just a simple request. "Fix my lawn." I said I will, but I want a seat on the architectural committee. She froze. That was her kingdom, her power. But eventually, she nodded. Today, the helipad is finished. Clara's lawn was restored, greener than ever. And sometimes, when I land or take off, I see her look up. No glare. No trowel. Just a quiet nod. Not friendship. Something better. Respect. If you've ever dealt with a petty HOA, you know how deep these wars go. But tell me this. Was I right to fight back? Or did I go too far? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to share if you've got your own suburban battlefield story.